She leaves the room and comes back a couple of minutes later dressed in a full realistic Spider-Man costume. You get down to business as things are heating up. You scream, take off the mask. She complies. But wait, it's not your fiance. It's Tom Holland. He leans in and whispers in your ear, Sony can't see us here.
Here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack. Welcome back, talking shit, I'm drinking wine, like and subscribe. Here's the crack.
Welcome back to the Here's Crack podcast
How's it going?
with your hosts, Ross, Tommy and Jay.
I thought you were just going to say Ross.
Well done, guys. Well done.
Another episode. Thanks for tuning in, and you know what to do. You go subscribe and leave a comment, and subscribe on Apple Music and Spotify and YouTube and stuff.
Christmas is looming. We need some money.
Do us a favour, like, it's Christmas.
Anything you think would help,
Give us a gift this Christmas.
give us the gift of you.
The gift of subscription.
Submit yourself to us.
So yeah, that's the crack.
I do love this. It's feeling homely.
It's feeling Christmas. It's
feeling Christmas.
Santa's here.
Step
feeling
into
of
Christmas. Step into Christmas.
What's your favorite Christmas
Such
song?
vibes.
No.
Imagine coming down the stairs one morning and like one evening.
Why would
like,
you come down the stairs, you dirty bastard?
You know, Santa. Do you know? No, I'm just thinking. Like, imagine.
Jesus.
Random thought, but imagine, you know, us at 25, like coming down the stairs late at night in your house.
Oh yeah.
Some guys,
Santa's
in your living
what?
room. What would you think, la?
I'd be like, hey, get out.
Hey, get out.
You think there's someone fucking robbing your house? Like? What else would
And he
you
goes,
do?
oh.
Do you think it's actually him? Like?
For a split second, if you were wrecked in the middle of the night, like say you were it's like 3 a.m, you go down to get a glass of water and you walk down. He's like, "What did you order for Christmas this year?" And you're like,
You're not Santa.
a big can of whip ass is what you're getting.
Hands off them cookies, boy. They're mine. They're daddy's.
Oh dear.
What the
Anyway,
While you're sitting eating the cookies that the kids left out, and Santa comes down the chimney. He's like, "Hey, man,
get your hands off them.
They're
I don't
not for
think they're
you.
yours."
What are they? Double stuffed Oreos.
You fucking see it.
So,
He gets down. He's like, "That's the 5th time tonight." Jesus Christ!
imagine Santa's actually from Belfast. Like.
All right, mate.
Alright, what do you want Christmas like? You want to eat present? Do you want me Christmas like? Do you want a scooter?
I've been here around all night, mate. I had to go to Taxico, fill up the sleigh, mate. £1.89 per litre. Are you serious? No wonder everybody's running around their head at the minute.
Absolute disgrace. Rudolph's giving us stacks like he's not getting enough juice in his tank. I'm going to put in the extra hours, so yes.
Stop.
Anyway, we'll start this podcast off with a Tommy's question time. Roll the intro.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the greatest show on earth.
It's Tommy's question time.
What was your dream job as a child?
Architect.
I can't believe you said that. We were talking about this the other night, and she was like, "Yeah, architect." I
It
was
actually
now
was.
So you're living the dream, basically.
Yeah, obviously.
Mad.
Would you say you're living the dream? Is it everything
Is it
you
everything?
hoped it? Yeah, you hoped and wanted it to be.
No.
Oh,
Dream,
yeah.
dreams don't come true after all, kids.
Whenever I was younger, I thought, I want to be an architect and just build houses and stuff. And like,
yeah.
Did you think it was
Design
what it was
stuff.
when you were younger? Did you think you'd actually be building the houses?
No, I didn't. Like, I had this idea it would be like Sims. Like, you know, in Sims, and you just throw houses up and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it'd be like that, but
You just do
obviously
it.
it's
You
not
just do
like.
a drawing and set it out in a field, and it just grows.
Yeah, it's a lot slower process than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Whenever I was younger, you think, you design a house and someone's building it the next day, like.
Yeah.
But it's months. Like, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not just as quick
Maybe
as
get
that.
the
like.
old planning permission and all
Yeah.
that crack.
All
eh?
the regulations and stuff too. Like, that's a bit of a
You
bore.
know,
But then, like, whenever I got to this age, I sort of enjoy that stuff more.
Yeah.
You know, I like a little bit of legislation.
Oh.
Bit of filling out forms and stuff.
Oh.
It mixes it up,
Does
like.
that get you going, like?
It does, yeah. I actually enjoy that bit of it too. But,
Whenever your boss comes along and say, "I've got this 15-pager to fill out," you're like, "Oh, tell me no more."
but if you had told me that when I was younger, I would have been like,
Yeah.
no way, no chance.
No
like.
thanks.
Yeah, fair.
What about
Fair.
you?
I don't know. It changed a lot whenever I was younger. Like I suppose you are a product of your environment. So like hanging about with people. Like my dad's mate was a fireman. Is a fireman. And always thought that's what I wanted to do, and then kind of switched then to like a train driver. Yeah, and then
Francis,
Well, like TransLink. Like.
Belujo.
yeah, no, I think
Or
you just,
bourgeois.
I think you just, I
What's his
think.
name?
Bourgeois.
Is it bourgeois?
I think you just think that things are a lot better than what they seem. Like
Would you
know,
want to be flying about in trans like that?
No, definitely
You know,
not.
you fucking blue zip
Yeah.
up top on, wee body warmer and all.
The train drivers do much. Like, do they not just like go forward and back?
Tickets, please.
That's not even
That's
the
not
train
even the
driver.
train driver.
I know.
That's
Well,
the-
you never know. He might flicker onto automatic and
You have that one of him on the podcast. You're like, what was your dream? He's like, train driver. Just wasn't cut out for it. Hey?
yeah.
Here we are. Dreams don't come true.
But yeah,
Podcaster.
I don't really know. I suppose like one of the big ones for me that stuck for a while was like proper like professional photographer. I wanted to travel the world and take photos and all that there. And I could have, but
Why
I mean,
why didn't you do that?
because
You started it, like.
I did, and it got actually decent at it. But
Do you ever have regrets that you didn't pursue the photography? You know?
I think there was a stage, and I think I've discussed this with you, where when you do something you really like and then you start getting into selling, making that a career,
Yeah.
it kind of sucks the joy out of it.
Yeah.
Like I would say for me, whenever I was going out, it got to the stage whenever I started selling my photos, like it did do well for a while, and I was selling photos and had a website and all, and it was going well. And I think then after a while you begin to cop on. I'm out here trying to take photos to sell. I'm not here trying to take photos because I like it. Do you know what I mean?
Work rather than pleasure.
I think I just realized that a real sort of, I suppose I haven't done it in a while, to be fair, but like I always look back and think like, you know, I really enjoyed that. There's mornings I was up at like 3:30. My alarm went off at 3:30 and I was out taking photos of sunrise and all.
Did you enjoy doing that?
Jumping out
I
of
loved
bed.
it. Honestly, loved it. Like,
Would you get out at 3:30 in the morning now? To go take photos?
yeah.
Where-
Oh yeah,
where-
100%. That there's nothing. This sounds really corny, but like there is nothing better than being out and it dark and then watching, like, because with photography you're just kind of sitting. You pick your angle. You have your camera up on a tripod. Like you're not running around unless you're doing portrait photography or something. You know, you have your camera set up. You're kind of just taking in everything.
Is it one of them like therapeutic things
Yeah.
where you just want to enjoy on your own?
Yeah, I would say so. Like there was a time, you know, Murloc Bay down around the north coast. Went down there, got my alarm went off like 3:30. Get in the car, went down, parked the car. There's no reception down there. You're in like a big bay. Literally sat there from maybe about 4:30 to about 8.
Would you done this on the weekdays, like before school?
Yeah,
Done
done it. Yeah. Well, over the summers and stuff. Whenever I worked in Carphone, like whenever I had a shift that started at like 10, I would have went down and then just went straight to work.
But you would have just went on your own.
Sometimes went on my own. Sometimes went with another fella that I was friendly with. Another two fellas actually.
But like, where would that have went? Like, say you did want to continue with that. Like, where would you have went? What road would you have went down?
It's hard to know because a lot of people who do that stuff, like I know a fella who does landscape photography and all, and I think his bread and butter is wedding photography, and then he obviously sells photos and stuff, landscape photos on the side, and a proper website, and it's like it's more like art, if that makes sense. He's more shifted into like, you know. Instead, you know, you have photographers who would maybe sell, like I would put up a digital print and you would just say, I want it in that size in this frame. And I could, like 20 different people could request that and I'll just give it to him. Whereas I think he's kind of switched where he goes out and takes a photo, sells it for a mad, like crazy amount of money, like, but it's a one-off.
Yeah.
He will never print one of them again.
Do you think if you had the likes of Etsy and stuff back then, you would have?
Well, like I did a market in Lisburn. And to be fair, I spent about £150 like printing out photos, like done all the work myself, put a lot into it. I made like £400.
But you're taking a risk there too, like,
yeah,
printing out
100%.
beforehand.
I still have photos left over.
Really?
Still have photos left over. A big massive box of just photos.
Can you give a wee shout out there and try and get them sold?
Nah, I'm alright.
Who else is photos?
But yeah, no, I haven't touched it in a while. But yeah, that was, I suppose, like when I was young, when I was sort of like at that age where I kind of thought, oh, I could run my own business and do like photography and wedding photography and all that there. I think you begin to notice though,
there's a lot of people get into it, and your issue is, and I really do feel bad for people who have done it for ages and are established and charging like the likes of wedding photographers who are like, we know the price of a wedding photographer.
Yeah.
Like, you imagine you've been doing that for years, that's your bread and butter, you're maybe charging £1,500 for a wedding shoot, and then you get like someone, you know, who's in it, sort of inexperienced but just wants the money to do what they're passionate about, coming in and being like, I'll do it for 350 quid.
Yeah.
And then like, if you're getting married and you're struggling for money and they can prove that they can take decent photos, you know what I mean?
It's cutthroat, like.
Exactly. Like.
Be big enough pressure doing the likes of wedding photography though. Like when you think like that's one day, and probably one of the biggest days of people's lives. And
I know a fella, and if he will watch this, and he'll know exactly, he will watch this definitely. He done a wedding video for a couple,
right?
And when he got back to do like the editing for it, like I think one of his mates or something came in and pulled the hard drive out of the computer, didn't eject it properly, all wedding footage gone.
Shut up.
No,
He had to ring a bride and be like, you know, the footage I've taken on your special day, it's gone.
Here, is it alright if we go back down here for an hour shoot?
Yeah.
You throw that dress on again, please.
Imagine that.
What did you say?
I don't think they were happy. Like,
He'd have to pay them.
It's just.
I think they just give him his money, give him their money back.
But you even think, you think of like the time, like there's times where like when we're recording it could go wrong.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly.
But it's like, imagine like someone's paid you like £1,500.
Yeah,
you'd have to give the money back. As well,
yeah. He did. Like, I think, yeah, but.
You wasted a whole day.
That's
there
it.
too,
Like, I
of your
could
own
not. Like, you see them videos of like wedding videographers and all, like walking along, and they're so busy trying to get the footage, they fall into a fountain or whatever.
time. Yeah.
That's no joke. That's like, people think that's funny. Like, it is obviously hilarious, but at the same time, you think like that's like, you imagine this time this time next year, and I'm getting married and I'm sitting having the time of my life, and the next minute I look around, my photographer's floating in a fountain.
You get a laugh.
I wouldn't care about the
lad.
photographer. I'd be like, "Where's your camera? Like, have you
You'd
lost
be
all your
jumping in to
finish?"
save him, but you'd left the camera instead of him.
And on the grand scheme of things, I suppose it's not the biggest thing to happen, but you know, it'd be pretty annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was your dream job?
Car designer.
Car
Card?
designer.
Card?
Car.
No card.
Oh, right.
He wanted to work for a Hallmark.
Hallmark was,
So I thought-
that was a dream. Like.
Design
Tommy
Valentine's
designing
cards.
like them memes at the front. Oh, congratulations! Happy 45th. You don't look like a day over 75.
He'd be the joke man in there. Like, he'd be making all the wee jokes that go in the front of him. Like.
So why?
Don't know, just was interested in it. I thought it was cool. You remember my one's got me like a load of different like car books and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, when I just took a notion. I just thought it'd be a class job. Like. I just thought like it's someone's job to just design what a car looks like.
Are you good at art?
It was like, I was decent enough. Like I would have drew stuff a lot, and like I think it was like around the time of like GCSE and stuff, I realised fuck, like I'd have to do art.
Yeah.
And I'd have to do like A-level art and stuff, and then I was just like, don't know, like it just GCSE art and all just didn't seem like
Yeah.
it was. Do you know what I mean? I think it was just one of those things you're like, oh, and then I think when you realise you'd probably have to move to like England or like fucking a proper car manufacturer like abroad, I was like, this.
Yeah.
Who had you like dreamed of working for?
I don't
Specific
know.
car manager?
I think it was like I looked up about stuff, and like the nearest like car manufacturer was McLaren in
Yeah.
England, like, and I was like,
Yeah.
that would be cool. But then I just don't know. Like,
Be
I just-
handy enough to work for like Tesla or something. Tesla cars literally look like how your first attempt at drawing a
But
car.
there's so much to it as well. It's like they design the car, but then they model it, like they do it
Yeah.
out of clay, and then they put it in like a wind tunnel to like test the like aerodynamics of it and all that
Right.
shit. Like. So like you design the car, and then people will make it like fully out of like clay or wood or something, and put it in like an air tunnel, like, and make like a proper
Right.
life size thing of it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. What could have been? The only
Bit of a
the only
random
person
one,
who
like.
the only person who achieved their dreams in this scenario was Shay.
Yeah.
Well done.
Let's go.
Yo, GG.
And is any wild ones like astronaut or anything whenever you're really young?
Don't know, like.
I don't even want to say mine.
Well,
Porn star.
I want to be a minister.
no, you didn't. Oh my God.
What's that like? That's like a priest, isn't it?
I remember.
Father Ross.
Nah,
Father
it
Evans.
wouldn't be father. It would be like reverend.
Reverend Ross. Not really rolls off the tongue.
Ministers can still get married.
No,
can't they?
yeah.
That's right.
Like I
that's
remember,
right,
I was like 6 or 7 or something, but my granny was like quite religious and stuff, and I was really close with her, and I think I just thought like, I just grew. Yes, you grew up in the church. You're like, I want to be that guy standing at the front. I think it was like I went to like a wee kids club or something, and the person speaking was like really good.
Yeah,
and then I was like, I could do that. I could be really engaging. I used to do like wee sermons and all that.
Could you imagine Ross coming home at like 6 years old being like, the guy today was actually really engaging, wasn't he? He's like, I think I could do
They
that.
don't make them like that anymore. Yeah.
That's so funny. Imagine
That's such a
you're-
random one. Like.
what could have been.
Yeah. I remember we were at a careers talk at the time. I wanted to be a fireman. I think I asked someone, I was like, I want to be a fireman, but like at the time, like the likes of pilot and all, if you're colorblind, you can't do a lot of stuff like that because you're obviously. I remember it's like a fireman. I was like, I'm colorblind. They're like, no, you can't. I was like, oh right, dreams crushed.
Why not? Because you can't tell the colour.
I don't know.
That doesn't make sense.
I remember going like back when I was like back when you were like probably like you remember you used to go to like career things.
Yeah.
The one that was just outside Belfast. I think it used to be where like you know that car show thing you used to go to.
Oh, the King's Hall.
I think it was around there, and I remember going, and I guess it was around the time I was thinking about doing marketing.
Yeah.
And like I was speaking to this woman who was like from BIM, which is like this like music like company, like university in England, and like she was saying about like basically like advertising and like management and like there, and I was thinking, fuck, I'd be sick. Like.
Yeah.
Thought, but just never done it. Like.
Fair.
Like I think that would be a sick job in marketing. Like what is it, AR you call it or something? That's like
Yes.
basically like you're out doing advertising and like managing like artists. So.
Yeah.
I think that'd be sick. Like.
I feel like there's no real clear like for roles like that, like for jobs that are a bit out there, there's no real clear route as to how to get there. That's why people fall back and get normal.
But that's like
Day-to-day
that's what
jobs.
like Scooter Braun done. Like
Yeah.
he was like he found Justin Bieber and like was like gonna and like done promoted him, got him on all the like radio stations and all. Like that's like that's basically what his role was. Like he done marketing in university and all. I remember looking up and all that and being like that would be fucking sick. Like.
Yeah.
Like imagine finding like Dermot Candy. Like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like things like that would be
Fair.
on.
But there's probably a lot of work in that sort of
Well,
thing too.
obviously,
Like
like when you
you
think
wouldn't just be like walking down the street
well,
one
like
day. and
when you look at Scooter Braun, for example, like he found
Yeah.
Justin Bieber on YouTube, flew out to Canada, met him.
yeah, you need to be
Basically,
banked already.
Yeah,
Though, like
it's
it's not one
I
of them
think
things
he
you
was
just-
broke. Like.
The other
Really?
night, Lucinda was watching the new season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians on Disney.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like season 1. I was sitting watching it with her, and it was a time where Kim Kardashian was doing SNL.
Yeah.
And her makeup artist started like crying. Her makeup artist had been with her since like before Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yeah.
And like he was basically told, do not take her as a client. You will feel she will be washed up. She will be worth nothing.
Yeah.
And now like you should see, like Lucinda was like, he does like these bespoke makeup classes. People pay thousands to go and like get like a class off him just because he's Kim Kardashian's. Like you think it like
Probably
it's-
paid tens
yeah,
of thousands.
literally.
There's Irish makeup artists that I think charge like £500,000 for that shit. Like.
yeah. Oh my God. Mad.
Imagine that, hey. Imagine he didn't take her on. Like.
Yeah.
Oh
taking
my
your big
God.
break too, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
sick, isn't it? Love that. Love to hear stories like that. Like that's
Mad,
sick. Like.
So yeah, let us know if you've achieved your dream career aspiration. We'd love to know.
Like me.
Exactly, like Shay here. But anyway, we'll get into this week's main topic. We were talking this week about obviously there's a lot happening in our lives. We're growing up. We're doing things. We're 3 independent boys.
Miss Independent.
Do you know what I mean?
Very loose man.
Loose.
Exactly. Just absolute loose.
Footloose.
But we got into this conversation about really on the topic of school and stuff, things that you were never taught in school. So I think this is a conversation everybody has a lot of the time. It's just like, I wasn't prepared for this. And I'm definitely finding this out now with like, getting the house and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's just sprung on you. You're like, I wish someone would have taught me how to do this.
Yeah.
Do you find that in what, day-to-day life that what you're doing? Is there ever sometimes where you've been like, oh my word, like I wish someone would have taught me that instead of You know,
I think it's a bit of a weird one because I think for me personally, because my parents run a business,
yeah,
I think I was probably like, what do you call the word?
prepared.
Exposed to
Yes.
a lot of things that others mightn't have been like, because it's just it gives you such a like understanding of the value of money,
Yeah.
and like I would have started working from real young type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just when you realize you have to pay for shit yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's the big thing. Like,
Yeah.
I think people like, I don't know, it was hard to, maybe you can answer this better than me, but it's like I feel like especially when you come out of uni and you get the loan and you're thinking, oh, like you're at that age, I'd imagine there's still people getting money in,
Yeah.
and they're thinking this is class. Like. And then when that stops, like, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
You're never really told about, well, I know people probably, I've heard a lot when I was younger, but you don't really understand that as you get older, you're slowly like just more like cut off.
Yeah.
Like with being helped, like obviously whenever you're in primary school, like teachers and stuff help you. High school, same as uni, you're sort of let it out yourself, but like once you're out of uni and stuff, it's just like, what the fuck do I
Like
do now?
something that
It's
I never,
literally all down to you.
yeah,
Like.
like something I never understood, which was sort of like a running joke in uni, was people getting really deep into their overdraft. Like.
Yeah.
So like people
Yeah.
would have been like, oh lad, like I'm fucking like $2,000 in my overdraft and all, like I've burnt through my student loan, and like laughing about it, and everyone would have been joking about it.
Yeah.
And I would have been sitting there thinking, like that's £2,000 you're gonna have to pay back. Like.
Yeah.
And people would have been like, oh, like got my loan back in, like just back out of the overdraft and all. And you were thinking, like when you finish uni, you're gonna be £2,000 in your overdraft, and you're gonna have to get out of that yourself. Like.
Yeah.
And then start looking for a job and all.
Yeah, like it's not funny.
Yeah.
Like.
I think it's little things though that you appreciate when you look back on it now. Like I know my mum and dad, they like we were very privileged whenever we were younger. Like and most things, if we didn't really ask for much, but at the same time, like mum and dad would have like got us stuff, and you know, for like, Christmas and whatnot. But I always remember there was wee things that I was like, oh, can I get that? And dad was like, you can get it whenever you're earning your own money. And it actually makes you realize like do you know what I mean? Like we're sitting talking about like PCs at the minute and building your own PC, and you were sitting chatting me through it, and I'm sitting in my head thinking I'd love to do that, but I have a mortgage to pay now, I have bills, you know what I mean? And you start to prioritize.
I think we were the same. Like we would have been spoiled growing up, but I think it's like when I got to like 16, 17 or whatever, it was like you have to pay this for yourself. Like.
Yeah.
And even like I think it was even like getting a car.
Yeah.
Like I remember like looking up, like I had savings, and I was like showing my dad these cars, being like, oh, I could afford this. And then he's like, oh yeah, go check the cost of the insurance there.
Yeah.
And he's like, the insurance is like $2,000.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably one of the first things you're like, holy fuck. And he's like, yeah. Like it's just like, how the fuck are you gonna pay for that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Diesel as well, putting that on it. Like
and
it's all
diesel.
the hidden costs
And
and
I was
stuff
like,
you never think of.
Getting a job then, I was like, you need to get a job. Because I had a job, and then I quit the job and went to Africa for a couple of months, and then coming back, they were like, you need to get a job again. Like, how are you going to pay for diesel? How are you going to
Yeah.
pay for this, pay for that? Like.
Yeah. Especially if you've a couple like you what you said four?
Yeah, for
Your mum and dad
3
had-
brothers and sisters. Like.
Yeah. That's mad. Like you can't really show favoritism. You do it for one, you have to do it for them all.
Exactly,
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I actually done a bit of digging this week in terms of like what people think is like one of the things that obviously one of the big things they didn't teach you in school, and the main one was I wish we were taught how to manage our personal finances, how to budget, how interest works, how to save money, how to invest, etc., etc. So like one of the big ones is how to budget. So obviously, like I think that's one thing. Like we're quite, you do have to learn it on your own, like because there's not really a rule book. There's not really a rule book for it. I know a lot of people say, oh, you take your wage, you save, a certain percentage, put another percentage away. But then it also depends on, you need to look at like how much is coming out of your bank account. Like say you're earning £1,400 a month, you're paying £700 in rent, 50%. That's 50% gone. So you need to be obviously looking and going, right, I need to feed myself. I need to pay for this. I need to pay for that.
But
I
then
think
that's the thing, is like the main thing we're talking about here is like when you're living at home,
yeah,
you don't have that. So it's like realizing when you move out, it's like the cost of food, the cost of electric, like your Wi-Fi and all.
yeah,
like all these things that you didn't have. Like you may have been working when you were living at home, but like you were getting your food buffet and stuff, and then when that's all gone, like
Was there ever a time where you were like skint? like proper skin, and you're like, I am in a bit of a hole here that I need to dig myself out of, that sort of required a bit of, right, I need to wise up?
Not really bad, and not in a real bad way, but like sometimes you come to the end of the month and you're hooking about the house, see if you can find any pound coins to see if you can buy your dinner, like,
Yeah.
if you've ever got that, like. But like I'm not like with savings and stuff too, like, but I'd never take out of that
Yeah.
because I know that's not my money technically,
Yeah.
but like I would be at points where my own personal money I'd have like nothing, but like it wouldn't bother me because I know I have the savings and stuff.
But
like.
that's why it's so important to have savings. Like.
Yeah,
'Cause,
definitely. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I'd be the same. Like I've got savings sitting there, but like I would still be like, oh, I've like 100 quid left.
Yeah.
On the spiraling too, like there'd be times where I'd be like, maybe like, oh, I'll put this way in savings, and then you're like, no, fuck it, I didn't have this year to do this month, and I'll pay it back next week or next month.
Yeah.
And you get to next month, and you're already
Yeah.
minus that before you start putting
See,
in next month's savings, and it just like it.
I always feel like if I get
like a
paid,
snowball effect, like.
yeah, if I get paid, I on the day that I get paid decide, okay, I'm going to save this month, and kind of glance into the future and go, right, in the next 4 weeks I have X, Y, and Z. See, the minute I lift money out of my savings, I
Yeah.
beat myself up so much. I'm like, I failed.
Yeah.
I haven't saved anything.
I'll feel.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's mad.
You take 30 lashings.
But it's even like, yeah, I think like especially going to uni, that's like one thing I would advise people to do is like when I got my student loan, I would have took out my rent straight away
Yeah,
and put it in like a savings account, like,
yeah,
and just like took out of it whenever I needed it, like. Because like I think it's like you get your student loan, you're like, oh, I've got so much money, you know?
yeah.
And you go shopping and all and get clothes and all, but then it's like it comes to paying your rent. Because like you have to pay your rent for like how many months is it? Like you get your loan every 3 months. Or
I
is
was
it
thinking
out-
about
is
this the
it
other day.
after-
Well, how much was the student loan? It was like 2.5 grand, 3 grand, wasn't it?
Yeah, it depends.
And
Like it
then-
depends what your parents make. I think.
That was your base one, wasn't it? Like that was the basic you got, and then you got like your bursaries and stuff on top of that.
Yeah,
But like, imagine trying, like that was for 3 semesters. So imagine say 4 grand, for instance. Imagine trying to live off that now. And like there was people in uni who did,
yeah.
but like may have also been in like overdraft debt, or like there were so many people in uni who didn't work, like,
I know that's
which
what
was
I mean.
mad. Like
yeah.
it's like, how the fuck did they do that? Like it's just impossible. Like,
No, it's not.
like they don't give you enough money.
So
Like.
tough.
But I feel like as well, a lot of it is knowing, it's being educated, because you can get caught out very easily. Like there's a lot of people now, like nowadays, and I understand it's a lot of stuff is acceptable, but there's so much finance options at the minute. Like even like whenever I went in to buy my car, like I had saved and saved and saved to go in and buy my car, because I was like, I want to get this before things get complicated, before I get a mortgage, before I have commitments. And like I remember going in, and like he would not, it's almost like he didn't want to sell the car like outright. It was just like finance. And I was like, I'm not really interested, but you'll get such a better deal on finance. And by the time we like took it home, read out all the options, you were not getting a better deal. Like,
I mean,
It should be interesting.
You make
Yeah.
so much more. They make so much more money off it. Like.
Yeah, the finance company gets money, like,
Yeah.
through
Like-
their percentage, but I think it's so the business has constant flow of income. So
Yeah.
like you take it over 4 years, they know there's a payment coming in every month for the next 4 years,
yeah,
See,
rather than just a big bulk investment.
I
like.
financed my car, and I think when I got it, the time I got it was like 5 grand, and I think I've probably paid like 7 grand for it now.
Yeah,
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? But like I didn't have the money to buy it outright. Like
yeah,
but finance is so scary too now. I think like I be thinking like people's thought process now is like, say I earn X a month, say for example like 2 grand a month or something, right? I'm gonna buy a car, 500 quid. I'm gonna get a mortgage, 500 quid. There's half of it gone, and like the thought process would be, oh, I have £1,000 left. I'm gonna finance something else, and they're gonna finance like right up until like
Yeah.
they're near the 2 grand, and then they're gonna realize like, oh fuck, I need to like get rid of some of these, but you can't because you're tied into them for so many years. Like.
Yeah.
yeah.
But you're not taught any of this.
No.
Like, do you know what I mean? You're really not, and that's why I genuinely think whenever you get out into the world and start navigating, it's how you manage like taking in that information in terms of like people going out and buying a car and being offered finance, and like some guy turning around and saying, oh well, if you take it over the this 36 month or whatever period, it'll work out cheaper, and you're just like, okay. You just take that at face value. Like, you're not thinking about like the percentages of things, like all that. It's
I think it's knowing what you can afford as well. Like
Yeah.
I don't think like I think like, I do think there's too much. Like, finance can be dangerous. Like, but it's, at the same time, it's like if you know what you can afford. Like, I knew I could afford that car back then when I was working in Sainsbury's at the weekends.
yeah,
And so now when I'm working full time and making like far more money than I was making back then, like you can obviously afford it. And then like when you get it paid off, you can sell it, and you're probably making the money back. Like when I sell my car, I could maybe get like $2,000 for it. So I suppose in the long run, like I probably not like I probably haven't made that big of a loss. But at the same time, it's like I think people like get cars like you see ones driving around in like Range Rovers and all, and they're paying like £300-400 a month, and you're thinking like,
what
you're crazy. Like,
what is when you look back at it, what is the silliest thing you've spent money on? What is the stupidest thing you've been like, why did I get that?
I think it's more for me. I think of it like I was making good decent money in Sainsbury's. Like I was making like 10 an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just spent so much money, so much of it in clothes, like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when you think now in terms of like invest in that, like if I was putting that money away, because I had a decent student loan, like I was like making, like still working, but like it's my student loan paid for a good part of it, like because like we didn't go out that much compared to other people, so like I wasn't going out 3 times a week spending my money, like I was just spending it in clothes, like. Yeah. But if I just took that money and invested it into like an S&P 500 or something, like it would have been. Oh, that's frustrating. Like that's one thing that frustrates me. Like
I couldn't give you a specific thing, like, but I do remember over lockdown when I was getting paid like 40-hour contract. In Biles, whenever I only ever worked like 20 hours, and I was getting like double what I'd usually get. It was like something like 500, near 500 quid a week, like. Yeah. And then I came out of lockdown and I went back into a 24-hour job. I'm back down to half, and then I looked at my bank account and was like, where the fuck did all that money go? I just could not comprehend like what was I spending that on, and just sitting in the house doing nothing, like. Just wasted it and shite, like. But I think everyone's in that boat too, like. Just spending money just to entertain yourself.
There's nothing else to do, like.
That's true, like. But it was a lot of money just to throw away, like.
What about you?
I think I look back on it now, the thing I wish I could go back and tell myself not to do would probably be the road bike.
Yeah.
Because whenever Carphone shut down, we obviously got redundancies, and I got a pretty decent redundancy. Now looking back at it now that I'm paying for a wedding and getting a house and stuff, it was a considerable amount of money. And at the time over lockdown, I think over the couple of months, I just wanted something to keep me occupied. Walked into a bike shop and just, yep, this is perfect. Let's go for it. And it was like, look, now that I have more knowledge on bikes, I look at it, I'm like, I probably overspent there from what I need. That's always my issue. I think it's a really bad quality that I have, is that if someone gives me 2 options,
you always want the best one.
I always will go for the best option. I'll always convince myself. Like, that's what really scares me. We're now venturing down where we're talking about PCs, and I'm like, I don't even want to dip my toe in this water at the minute, because I know I'm the bigger fool, where you'll be like, oh, you can get this and this is 250, or you could get this, it's like 600, but it's an absolute beast. And I'd be like, okay, I need that.
But you don't need it.
Yeah, but you don't need it. But you could tell me that from here to Kingdom Come, I still wouldn't listen to you, because in my head I'm like, why would I buy that when I could buy this and it's better?
Like even like with a
I do the same
with a
head,
PC case, like you brought up your PC case and you're like, oh, here, just use this, and like if you give me a motherboard and all, like, and I'm using it, but like I was like, no, I want to get this PC case. But like I didn't need to get it, man. Do you know what I mean? It's just this. I'd be the same. But
I
like
do that too, though.
In terms of finance, what if someone asked you, what would you say you shouldn't buy in finance?
Things with high depreciation value.
Like
I think finance can be a positive thing. Like, it can be good if you don't have money right now, but like you're going to invest in something that's going to maybe make you money, or like save you money long term if you just like slowly pay for it. But like, I think just something that's just going to depreciate, like a super expensive car, like. As soon as you drive that thing off the lot, like, halved in value, like more or less most cars, like, until you're at a stage where you can afford to lose it, like. But
even if you bought a car that you didn't need, like, for cash, like,
What do
like
you
an
mean?
unnecessary. Like say you spent like 70 grand on a Jeep or something.
Yeah.
Like, do you really need that right now? Like, especially at this age. Like?
No, I don't think so.
Do you know
like,
what I mean?
Unless you're in a position where like
You have
that's
it.
not you cut like
Yeah.
for example, like what was it Kanye says if you have to be able to afford something 3 times
I think it
before you should buy it.
I think I seen Akon said something like that. He was like, if you don't have 10 times that amount of money.
Yeah. Like if that's the like.
But then
if you're
that's a
freeing
bit
up
realistic as well, because like
Yeah.
if you're buying a house, it's like 100 grand, and he's like, oh,
You have to have a
you have to have a
million.
million. Like.
That's like I
Yeah.
suppose.
If you were buying it in cash, like,
But if you're trying to like set assets aside too, like say you're at a point in your life where you're like investing in other things and you need that money right now to invest in other things, and it's better for you to finance something rather than buy it outright.
like the 4 times sounds a bit more realistic. Like.
Yeah.
Like if you were buying a car for 4 grand, if you don't have 12 grand sitting there, can you really afford it? Like? Or 16 grand, sorry.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't say so, but like it's not even that. It's like now a 12 grand car is like pretty basic car. Like
Yeah.
it's if you're buying like is it a commodity? No, not a commodity. Just something that's not like you don't need it.
It's a
It's not
liability.
necessity.
It's a liability.
Yeah.
like something like a fucking G wagon. Nobody needs a G wagon.
Yeah.
And
a
that-
wee
Like,
Toyota will do you. Like
Yeah.
like you don't need anything more that doesn't
Yeah.
does
like
more than
a-
get you
a-
there to be like.
Any car's a liability. Like so, like that
Yeah.
that book. If you read that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talks about like assets and liabilities.
Yeah.
Like, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Like a liability, is something that's costing you money and not making you money. Whereas like a asset is something that's you like
Getting a
costs you
return on
money
your
and
investment.
making you money. Like he makes this whole point of like he talks about buying property, and he said
Yeah.
like he bought property before he bought his own house because he was like buying assets. Like. So he was buying a house and renting it out before he even had his own house. He was just renting. Like.
Yeah.
And like things like that, like he's like, you need to have more things in your asset column than you do in your liabilities column.
But it's what you do. Like I think the other thing in that book was it's what you do with them too. Like because the house can be an asset or it can be what's the alternative?
a liability.
A liability.
Yeah.
Depending on what you do with it. Like.
I think it's about looking at it logically. Like, there's no right or wrong answer unless you're getting completely screwed over with like a high interest rate. Like we've seen, you know, we have, not to get into the details of it, but we have seen advertisements go around at the minute of people like influencer stuff promoting these like basically like payday loans.
Yeah.
And like when you actually like people have called them out on it and been like, you look at the terms and conditions of this, you're getting swindled. Like. And I suppose it's just looking at things logically. Like personally, for me, I would avoid financing things like holidays. Like in my opinion, like we're looking at
that sort of stuff.
You can do that.
do you know what I mean? Like we're looking
Right,
at
no,
we're
factually.
looking at honeymoons at the minute, and it's like, you know, the sake of maybe a couple of £100, but then you're maybe going, oh, should we go for that and just pay it off? And like if we did that
But
now,
you can pay off a holiday anyway.
But there's paying a holiday off and then there's
There's
finance and you're paying it for a couple of years after.
Yeah, like it's things like that where I just think like, why? What are you honestly?
Yeah, that's-
short term gain, long term pain.
If you
Do know
can
what I mean?
afford that, could go on that holiday,
Yeah.
don't go on it. Like.
Yeah,
It's
but
mental, like, but-
yeah.
I'm trying to think what other things
Did,
that people can
There's some
finance
like
that,
I've got I've got direct debits, like, and like one thing I've said now is like, if I was getting a new phone, I would only buy it in cash.
Yeah,
I think it's mad, like.
I don't know. Like.
it's just one less thing to worry
It's
about.
just things I just think I've got it in my head now because I think I've got like I've financed so many things. I'm like,
Trust me,
there's things you should just buy.
from
But,
like
like,
someone who worked in a phone shop,
I know-
whenever you add it all up,
I know
like,
you'll pay your
if
extra.
you have the money to buy
Like
a
people
phone
go,
outright.
people are going and
Why-
getting the brand new iPhone and paying like 40, 50, 60 pound a month. Like.
But why
More
wouldn't you
than
buy
that.
that from Apple and get your 0% contract?
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
it's
but
0%,
yeah,
That's better.
but
like.
in my head it's more like I can't afford this. Like.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
I can't afford it, like I'd rather just be able to go in and be like, yeah, I want a new iPhone here. There you go. Like.
But then it leaves a massive hole in your pocket that month. Like.
I know, but if
Yeah,
you
but at
can
the same
afford it, it
time-
won't. Like.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're walking in and going, right, this phone cost me £1,200, I don't have £1,200 to my name, that means that you're not putting money away each month, which means you're throwing it away on other things. So what are you going to do? Turn around and just go, all right, so I'm going to add £60 a month on top of that.
But if you're
Like,
not throwing it
unless
away,
you're
like,
proactively going, right, I need a budget for this.
if
I
you're a
want it.
sensible person and you use
Yeah.
that money productively,
Yeah.
rather than just
Yeah.
you lose 1,200 quid. That's it gone. Like, right
with,
there and then.
I
Like.
sort of get it with a car, like depending on what car you're getting. Like I would rather like probably hire. Like I think if I was to get a car again, I might lease it or hire it, where like after a couple of years you just get a new one for the same sort of money. But like for me, like forking out like 20 grand for a car, like,
Then
I don't think I could do it. Like.
that wee portion of interest you pay too also goes towards your credit score, which is also a very important thing whenever you get older.
Finances.
Whenever you are building your credit score, it's good to actually have a lot of finance out, so it shows that you're able
You
to
can
pay money
afford it.
back.
But then,
So it's
what if you
cheaper
miss
than.
your payments?
Well, if you're not in
But
an
like that's
ideal
what I mean.
world,
If you can't afford it, like I think the problem I think is people want everything instantly.
But
So
that's-
people want to get a new iPhone and they're like, "Fuck, I can get this and only have to pay £50 a month, or I can get
Exactly.
this car and I can get a really nice car. It's £200-300 a month." Like.
Yeah, but I've heard of people who have never like a realistic. You're not going to buy a house outright. Like, you're going to mortgage a house.
Yeah.
I've heard people who've never had loans in their life, never had any finance.
Yeah,
They've no credit score. So
Yeah.
once you go into an estate agent or then go to get your mortgage, they'll just say no because they don't know.
There was
Yeah.
in
They don't know
there
if they
was
can trust you, like.
there was in some occasions people who like took out contracts in Carphone Warehouse who had no credit score.
Yeah.
And they were loaded,
yeah.
but they hadn't they just paid for things outright.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a contract. Whereas people coming in who would admittedly be like, I'm terrible with keeping up payments, got contracts, got approved.
As long as
It's
you have
just,
something
it's
on
just
paper.
the way it works.
It's mad, like.
But
Or it's fucked, hey.
you speaking of things that they don't prepare you about in school, you also had looked up some, or have you not?
I thought this is just what we're talking about.
Harsh
like.
realities no one ever prepared you for / told you about.
Just thought it would be something with wing. Like.
I feel like you're very good. You would be very good at this because you are the harsh reality man. Like you're the person that I would say, Thomas just says it how it is. Like a harsh reality, I think a harsh reality that I have definitely come into terms with recently, and I have talked about this before, especially with yous, is that like I feel when you're younger and you're in high school, you honestly do put on this like it's so hard to fit in sometimes that you become someone who you know finally you're not.
Yeah.
And you see once you leave and like you pick like I fully believe that, you know, in uni you pick your mates.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like I genuinely think now it's one of them things where I am a lot happier just doing what I want to do. And whereas, you know, a couple of years ago I didn't, I was like finding it like quite hard, like under pressure to like be a certain person or do things that I didn't want to do just because it pleased and I fit it in with people. But now I'm like, I don't give it. I don't want to fit in if it's not what I want to do. Like I'm quite happy now if someone, you know, tries to get me to do something I don't want to do. I'm quite happy just to be like, no, like that's not for me.
Yeah.
Because, and that, why? Because I don't want to do it. I'm not going to be happy. Why would I sacrifice myself to just please you? Because it's, at the end of the day, it's providing me nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like you just get that way where you just realize like you
Fuck everyone.
like you do realize that you don't have long. Like, do you know what I mean? And do you want to turn around and be like 80, 90 sitting on a flipping your easy lie down chair, barely able to walk and looking back and going, flip, I'm so glad I lived my life trying to please everybody else. Like sometimes you genuinely just need to tell people royally you can
No.
swivel on it. Like I couldn't care less.
Yeah, that's true. I think one thing that I was thinking of was there's nobody there to hold your hand
Yeah.
as well. It's so true. So many people told me when I was younger, I sort of did touch on this earlier, but like whenever you mentioned the job interviews, it was like there's going to be nobody to get those job interviews for you. You have to go out, you have to apply for them yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's not like school or even whenever you're in work and it's like, fuck, waking up in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
there's no one's going to wake you up out of bed and tell you to go to work or drive you to work. You take yourself to work.
Yeah.
And if you're going to miss a day of school, there's no mummy ringing in like the work and being like, she's not coming in today. You ring in yourself. You grow a fucking pair of balls.
Yeah.
And like even like holidays and stuff, like it's like you have to fucking tuck the tail between their legs and go to your boss and be like, can I have this day off, please?
Yeah.
Like sort of just shit like that there. Like there's no one to hold your hand. It's like I think in school as well, like, and whenever like teachers are like showing you what to do and stuff, like whenever you're in work, it's just like you're given the work and you're expected to do it, and it's like it's scary. Like. And even responsibility, yeah.
Honestly, the best thing that I have ever had in like up until now that I've been sort of doing my own thing and whatnot, and getting out of uni, and not even getting out of school, getting out of high school and going to uni. The best possible thing for me was just like getting thrown in at the deep end.
Yeah.
Because like when you get your hand held, you don't like, yeah, you'll probably get experience in a bit of stuff, but you're not going to get the full thing. Like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think you sort of need them. Like,
Yeah.
you need to fall too, like, first.
I remember my sister went for like a job interview, not a job interview. She went, something like that for teaching. She's a classroom assistant, but she was trying to get into teaching. And I think she went into like a couple of like, she interviewed for a course or something along lines out there. But like a lot of the kids, not kids, but like the teenagers at the time were interviewing for this particular course. And like Amy went in on her own, like Amy prepared for the interview on her own, but she said whenever she got in, there was like a pile of ones had came with their parents who were coincidentally teachers. Right. And obviously that worked in their favor because they may have known the interview, or they may have, being oh, this is my mom, she's a teacher. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to like, sweeten the deal.
Yeah.
But it's exactly like, I remember my dad saying like, well, they'll not, their mummy and daddy won't be there on their first day of teaching whenever, they've got a classroom full of screaming weans.
They can get them in.
Do you know what I mean?
They can get them in the door, but they can't keep them there. Like.
Exactly.
Even like submitting work and stuff too, like you're sending it, like for me, like sending it out to plan or whatever, like there's no one there, like like your boss checks your work and stuff for you, but like it's your work, like you, like the responsibility you have, like that's all on you. Like if you fuck up, you take the hit for it. Like.
That's happened. Like like the last few weeks, I think I realised that it's just like you're doing things, and there's like if you make a mistake, it's on you. Like there's no like.
I remember you used to highlight that to me in uni. There was ones who like didn't hand their work in on time and whatnot, and I like getting on here as if we were star students. We really weren't, but at the same time, like there was days where people weren't handing their work in on time, and it was honestly like people, the lecturers were like, "This was meant to due in today. Why have you not got it done?" There's some big elaborate excuse, or else they like pinned it on the lecturers. They were like, "Well, you didn't give me enough time."
Yeah,
that's not going to float in the job. No. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's one of them things that, I suppose.
That's the big bad world.
That's it. Get out, get the experience, take life as it comes, roll with the punches. From three lads who've experienced everything in life at the minute.
I think confidence is so key too.
Yeah.
Like you could walk into a job interview with all the qualifications, but if you're not confident, like they just tell you to fuck off.
But if you don't have the experience, so
I know that's like
do what Tommy does. Walk in, just crack a few jokes.
crack a few jokes.
Are you well? Because you're looking well.
Yeah.
As Rocky Balboa once said, nobody hits harder than life.
Okay, I think that was a good chat. Anyway, we'll end that there. I've got a wee rant for you this week.
Let's go.
You know what? I was cleaning out my car the other day, and do you know how many cards I came across underneath my seat?
Well,
Sounds really disrespectful, by the way. Like a few engagement cards and stuff. We got engaged months ago.
fire them on your seat.
People were just giving them to me, and I was putting them in the back seat.
Disrespectful.
But like,
fill with money and all that.
Was there money in them?
definitely not. No,
You give them a good shake before you throw them on the seat anyway.
Ross finds a grand under his car seat.
I love them TikToks, by the way, where it's like when you how you react when you get money from a relative, and this person opening the card, a pile of money drops out, and you ignore it and you just keep reading. But yeah, it actually occurred to me during the week, what is the point of a card? Because like your birthday may come up soon. Your birthday's in January. Yeah. I'll give you a card and you'll go, "Oh, thanks very much. To Thomas from Ross. Happy birthday." Nice. Stick it up in the wee mantelpiece for a week or two.
I don't see
and
them
then
cards
it goes straight in the bin. Yeah. What is the point? Because I walk in and I go, "Oh lad, happy birthday." Or I message you, "Happy birthday, lad," and you're like, "Thanks." But the disrespect on me if I don't come up and give you a flipping piece of paper and you like, "To Thomas from Ross, hope you have a lovely day." You're like, "Thanks."
I would just rather not the card, like.
Well, people have things where they put them on the mantelpiece.
Yeah.
I
get it as a sentimental. I get it as a sentimental thing. Like for your like 18th or your 21st or your engagement, like people love to keep cards. But my God, like, it's
destroying the planet. Cutting down trees, makes
exactly.
Trees aren't cheap, eh?
Exactly.
Just mons me a tenner, like.
But yeah,
my own card.
Would you rather someone monsey you like the £3 they spent in the yard, or just
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
As miserable as it seems, like
Imagine
absolutely.
one of us ones when you hear £3 comes into your account, you're like, oh, what was that for? I was going to get you a card.
Go
but
get
sure,
yourself
What would you
something
rather?
nice.
Get
A
yourself
card-
a wee can of Red Bull there.
Or Tesco meal deal.
Exactly.
That's the argument.
Exactly. Or
Have
free-
you even seen the cheek of Moonpig now do virtual cards? So you can email a card to someone.
How much?
It's like the same price as a
Oh,
card.
shut up, man.
They make you pay for this, like,
I got
graphic
that. I
they've
got
made.
that in my last job. Like.
Shut
When I
up,
left my
man.
last job, I got like best of luck type of thing
That's
in an
nice.
email. And they were like, did you check your emails? And I was like, no, I hadn't checked it. I was like, oh yeah, nice one, thanks. You didn't have to do that.
Whenever I left my last job, they give me a gift voucher.
Yeah.
I went to use the gift voucher one day and the girl was like, no, it's not valid. And I was like, what do you mean it's not valid? And they were like, there's not that amount of money on it. And I was like, what do you mean? So I ended up then, like, she was like, I'll take what I can off it. Checked it. They give me like a gift voucher that had been partly used.
shut
No,
up.
they didn't.
Swear.
No
How much was on
way.
it?
There
much
was,
was on
there
it?
was a 20 quid voucher and there was £11 left
Oh
on
my.
it.
Oh my god.
It was like one of them one for all vouchers. Someone had used it
Someone
at like a
had probably
Sainsbury's.
got that as a gift from someone else and been
And then
like,
just went,
okay,
oh,
it's
yeah.
like, oh, throw that in the
The
yard. then.
disrespect.
Oh, I don't think I'd
Fucking
use this
number,
yet,
the
man.
number at the back and all scratched. It's like someone giving you a scratch card and it's all scratched. Oh, there's £3 in that.
bad.
Hey?
I can imagine that now.
That is mental. I can't believe that. Oh my god.
telling you.
The cheek.
The cheek.
of it. Look.
And me like, oh, cheers, thanks very much, and all. And then
You pure buzzing. Oh,
me go.
nice.
I think
What
I
am
went. I
gonna
think
do?
I went into Argos. It was going into Argos to get the PlayStation headset.
Yeah.
She was like,
What
"There's
about
not."
40
I was,
quid on it?
She was like, I was like, "Oh, what? How much do I owe you?" And she was like, "Oh, you owe me X." And I was like, "Is there not 20 quid in that?" She was like, "No." She was like, "I've took what I can off that." And then I went home and checked. I went
Did
in
they
and
say
checked.
there was
it.
20 quid on it?
Yeah, they just gave me the voucher. It said 20 quid, and I went, "Oh, cheers."
Oh
they had
my
written
God.
on the back to Ross.
It actually
20
said like to Jonathan. Jonathan was like scribbled out.
Tip backs on the
Ross.
yard.
Yeah, but yeah, that was
That's
yeah.
a bad act. Like.
That's cat, hey.
But
Oh, no way, man.
by popular demand, the other week, a couple of episodes ago, you did a My Perfect Day for me, which resulted in a lovely ending of me hopping into bed with Marcus Mumford and getting cuddly. Fair
Yes.
play. But back by popular demand, you've got one for Thomas.
Have you actually done this?
Yeah.
Right.
So-
let me hear it then.
This is My Perfect Day, Tommy edition, written by our very own Shay Cullen.
By Shay Cullen.
Take it away.
The fuck, this is proper.
Fuck, it is long. I just keep writing and then like just forget.
Yes, your creative genius just flow. Right, get into it. I'm excited.
Right. Do we have enough time for it?
Lad.
Maybe we'll leave it the next week.
No. Get it.
All right. Here we go. You wake up at 2:40. Nice. Or sorry, fucked up already.
Start again.
You wake
Nice.
up. You wake up at 4:20. Nice. You feel refreshed.
Nice.
Like you slept for 12 hours. You sit upright in your bed and stretch your arms outwards. As you're doing this, your fingertips seem to get further and further away from you until you touch the walls at each side of the room. You panic and you snap back into the place like an elastic band. You take a moment to process what's happened and convince yourself that it's just a dream. You begin pinching your skin. You begin pinching your skin in an attempt to snap back into reality, but only confirms that what you've seen. You're able to stretch your skin and body out to extraordinary lengths.
What? Mr. Stretchy.
It's coming. Stretching like chewing gum, but snapping back into place like a 2022 spring fall edition Victoria's Secret G-string. You jump out of bed and you look at your reflection. You're amazed by what you see looking back at you. 6 of the most defined abs you've ever seen. So sharp, you could shred a frozen block of Cathedral City cheddar into slices so thin they could slide right through Ross's tight ass without even touching the sides.
What the fuck?
I'm lost where I am. Not even touching the sides. You sprint out of your room. You sprint out of your room, heading towards the kitchen. You make it halfway up the hallway before tripping over an enormous log-shaped object. You mutter to yourself, "Not again." As we are all aware, despite any supernatural abilities Thomas may have obtained in this morning in question, he has unfortunately been cursed with a massive schlong that he regularly trips over while running, as we've heard in a previous podcast. You eventually make it to the kitchen. You swing open the door and are greeted by none other than Gary V sitting at the table. eating a bowl of cornflakes. He turns to you and says, let me burn myself.
Hey, man, you gotta get some more of these cornflakes, but with the frosting on them. I'm telling you, man, Frosted Flakes market share is about to change the game as we know it. Google, Facebook, Apple, finished. This is the future of NFTs, man. Delicious breakfast cereal, add sugar, kids are gonna love it.
What is happening?
You're lost for words. Gary quickly finishes the cereal, grabs you by the hand, looks you dead in the eye and says,
We have work to do.
he takes you down the street. He takes you down the street.
Smurf.
And you go to 20 garage sales, profiting over 500k in just 2 hours. As you're rummaging around garage sale number 21, you see a suspicious guy perched behind a lamppost. He approaches you and whispers, "You need to come with me." He looks at you for a sec. You look at him for a second, and you realise it's Samuel Jackson, aka Nick Fury. Before you can say anything, he punches you in the face, and you black out. You wake up in a daze on a cold, hard metal table. Your eyes begin to focus, and you can make out a blurry figure standing over you. As you come around, you realise it's Scarlett Johansson wearing a pile of leather and latex. She grabs you by the throat and screams, "Johnny Sin's called. He wants his dick back, asshole."
Jesus Christ, man.
Another voice comes from the corner of the room saying, "Lay it off, he's just a kid." You know that voice. You think for a second, it can't be. You look around, it's Tony fucking Stark.
No way. Sick.
But Mr. Stark, I thought you, shh, he whispered softly. You're an Avenger now. You scan the room, you see the rest of the team. They all smile at you and say hello, apart from Spider-Man. He can't be there because it's in his contract with Sony. Captain America approaches you and tells you that they need your help against Big Boy Thanos. He's back.
Big boy Thanos.
How, you ask?
How has this happened?
He looks you dead in the eye and whispers, "Because Marvel."
Marvel.
You agree to help and defeat Thanos once again by slicing his head off with your shredded abs. You celebrate. To celebrate, you and the team fly to Vegas. You bet big on the slots and tables. You 10x your 500k you made earlier that day.
Nice.
You think to yourself, "Fuck side hustles." You all just party hard and end the night at Justin Bieber's house. He plays music along with Sam Fender. You enjoy it very much.
Lethal.
After this,
Tell you where Tommy Schlong's going that night. Sam, come here.
After this, Tony flies you home in his arms. He leads you to the door and kisses you goodnight. You get into your house and are greeted by your loving fiance. I'll put any names on it. She grabs your hand and she leads you to the bedroom. She sets you in the bed and says, "Wait right there, have a surprise." She leaves the room and comes back a couple of minutes later dressed in a full realistic Spider-Man costume. You get down to business as things are heating up. You scream, "Take off the mask." She complies. But wait, it's not your fiance. It's Tom Holland.
Oh my god. Spidey.
He leans in and whispers in your ear, "Sony can't see us here." You don't break a stride, and seconds later, you shoot your web all over Tom. You fall back in ecstasy. Spider-Man theme tune begins to play, and you drift off to a blissful sleep. End.
That was unreal. Wow.
That was mad.
Hope you like.
That was an experience. Shay, thank you very much for that. I think we can't get better than that. We'll just end it there.
That was amazing.
Thank you very, very much for listening to this week's episode, and we will catch you in the next one.
Bye.